mean, it feels good. My first year, they ended our, I think, 9-game win streak. And then last year, they came in and beat us in a game that we should have won. So it's like a moment. But, I mean, just back to the drawing board, really. It feels really good, though.
Yeah. Did you have any fears that it was getting away from you guys there in the fourth period?
No. I knew we'd get it together and pull it together. We do like late game situations in practice all the time, and it was just one of those situations. All we had to do was just take care of the ball, and I mean, it'll come easy, really.
You seem to be really growing in your role now. I mean, it's 2 big rebounding games in a row, and it's something I know that Coach Porter's talked about wanting to get from you. Are you feeling more comfortable in that role, and if so, what's the catalyst for that? What?
Was it Bree? Bree got hurt. Young Harris. No. I always enjoyed rebounding. Rebounding and blocking shots has always been my thing. My teammates always took care of putting the points on the board. Not that I can't, but when Bree went down, Young Harris, I figured like the thought that went through my head was, what can I do that Bree does that I could do without doing too much or doing something that would throw everybody off? And I mean, if it's exerting more energy than I don't have to go get the board, then I'm gonna go get the board and rebound for Bree.
Yep. Well, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, you feel maybe, I don't know that pressure is the right word, but you feel like you need to take up a little slack maybe with her not being able to play right now.
No, our bench is doing a really good job. Our post players coming off the bench, filling in for her, and I mean her presence is missed, but the bench is doing a really good job of stepping in and not filling her shoes, but filling their own shoes to make up for at least some of it that we are missing.
I walked in the locker room after the game and I said, guys, what did they do different? You know, so I'm on the bench, I'm off on the sidelines. What did they change? They kind of paused and nothing. They just played harder.
Yeah.
And that's where we are right now. And what I told them was, when you can be there at 8-3, 5-1, that's a blessing, right? That's because a lot of teams, I think last year we were that team that had to learn to keep our foot on the gas and to play well for 40 minutes, and we were losing. And right now, you know, I told them, I see the flashes. First 20 minutes against Clayton, the first 20 minutes against Columbus, 35 minutes Wednesday night at Aiken. You see flashes of how good this group can be. And I think they've just got to be convinced of it. I really, really believe that's where we are. I think that we've got better basketball ahead of us in the next 16 games. But a lot of it is them settling into, this is who we are, this is how we play, and we're not going to stop. You know, Clayton is a team with a lot of tradition. They're used to winning. I know they got a lot of new faces on the floor, but that's, you know, even the kids that step into winning programs know they came to that program to win. So when you look up and you're down 18 at half, there's a little pride kicks in, you know, and we knew they were going to come out and attack us in the third quarter, and we just didn't respond. And so for me, you know, I think that's where we are. But I think we've got to learn from this. We really do. We've got to learn and we've got to understand. I told him, if you play as well in the first 20 minutes against a lot of teams, you're going to look up and be up 15. And then you got to figure out whether or not you're going to sustain that level of energy that you start the game with. And I just think, you know, there was a tale of two halves. We came out strong and they relaxed a little bit, and then the second half it was flip-flopped. And I think both teams probably got some lessons that we can learn from what we did in both halves today.
I know most of their success, they had a big winning streak against you guys, and most of it happened when you weren't here. But still, your first win against them. How did it feel to get off the floor?
You know, we had quietly a really short list of teams in the league that we had not had much success with in the 3-year tenure that I've been here. Yeah. And most of the young ladies that are here, my senior class, were here as freshmen, but everybody else has been here with me, and so we were kind of all in that same boat. And we've just kind of quietly been talking about, you know, not making a big deal of it, but talking about those teams that have kind of bested us. Even as we've been pretty good, there have been teams and programs that, you know, working off tradition and that have just been a little bit better. And so, you know, we knew coming in, this game for us had a little bit of a personal feel in wanting to prove that we were good enough to compete with a good Clayton team, a team that has a lot of tradition, has always been top half of this league. So It feels good to get that win. It really does, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, that one, we got to learn from whatever we did right or wrong and then move on. We don't get a whole lot of time to relax and enjoy it. So.
Right. You talked about this, the first game Abigail was back, even though, you know, her points total might not have been huge. You talked about how big a deal it was having her back on the floor. And now she's not just getting the ball down the floor, she's scoring for you as well.
Right.
Can you just touch on that more and how much it means to have her running this offense?
Yeah, well, she's a scorer. Yeah. She's a scorer. Ideally, I think I said when we recruited Abby like 2 years ago, year before last, she reminded me of Camille. She was our answer to losing Camille Dash. She was that kid who really can play the one but belongs off the ball because she is probably more scorer than she is anything else. Right. And so I can't say enough about how she has really kind of sacrificed a little bit even of her own game to handle the ball for us, to run our offense, to get the ball to the right people. And now I think that she's getting comfortable doing that. We're starting to see her be able to find her own shots at the right time. And that's a conversation that she and I had in between the break, that last game, and then having a few days off, was just, that's the biggest job for a point guard, a scoring point guard, is knowing when to find, you know, the other 1,000-point scorers on the floor and when to look for your own. And I think in these last couple of games, she seems to be starting to get really comfortable with when to do what. And her decision-making has been very good. First couple of games, we had to sit her because of foul trouble and some other issues, some quick shots in the offense. I think now she's starting to settle in and get really comfortable. And I think that's just a testimony to how selfless this group is. Got a lot of people on the floor that can score. And the fact that they are willing, you know, to run offense and execute and share the ball and some of the things that we do when we're playing really well, I think is really a testament to the kind of kids that we've got and the great job that they do kind of gelling and playing together.
Yep. So you are sitting at 5-1 in the conference.
We are, yeah. Feels good, you know, because again, you know, early on, we went on the road that first and we got smacked, and we didn't really know how we were going to respond. We talked about it a little bit, and then, okay, let's go back to work. And then we got 2, but we were at home, and I didn't know what that was going to mean when we went on the road. So we went on the road last week and got 2 more. So at this point, I feel good. I feel like we're beginning to at least settle in to the things that we do well. One of the things we talk about a lot with this group is that you got to know who you are. You got to know. Clayton knows who they are. They're going to press you. They're going to turn you over. They're going to get out and run. They're going to try to get points in the paint. At some point, we as a team have got to figure out who we are, and I feel like we're beginning to settle into that. You know, transition looks good. We're pushing the ball a little bit harder. I think Abby has a lot to do with that. You know, so, you know, if we could just find some consistency in the 3-ball. You know, we hit 13 on Wednesday. You know, we could actually have given like 4 of those away and used them tonight because we're kind of up and down there. Because I think even tonight in a game where we kind of squandered a large lead, if we hit some of those looks that kind of got late, you know, even the 8-point lead I think becomes 12, 15 maybe, because we're getting good looks. I think we're doing a decent job running our offense, but we've got to get a little bit more consistent with our long-range game and be able to knock down some of those shots consistently.
And you're doing this without one of your best players on the floor.
Yeah. I tell you what that did is it has really forced me to use my bench. And I actually said to somebody the other day that when Bree's on the floor, and she is, we joke about the fact that Bree's that kid that never comes off the floor. She's a 38-minute-a-game ball player and has been for me for 3 years now. When she is not an option, you got to use what you have. And I think what we're seeing is some of our younger kids, you know, Todd and Bree, and even Lowe coming off the bench, stepping up and doing some really good work for us. And a lot of it is just them understanding, here's what we need from you when you're on the floor. You know, we don't necessarily need you to go be Bree, but we need you to bring what you bring. We need you to defend. We knew that Rackley and Johnson and a couple of Merriweather, a couple of Clayton's post players were really good, strong in the paint. Got to defend and rebound for us tonight. And I thought Todd and Bree and Lowe came off the bench and did a great job of that. Kristin's been solid all year, and we need her to continue to be solid. I think she may be the best post defender in our league. And I'll go out there and say that. People may argue with me. But I think at 5'11", to have the ability to stay between her man and the rim and contest shots and then turn and rebound, she's been invaluable for us this year. And I think that needs to be said because we put a lot of focus on scoring. You know, everybody scores. But she is a role player for us that I'm not sure how good we'd be without her on the floor. So the fact that she stepped up and those other post players have stepped up in Bree's absence is huge.
And she seems to be just getting more and more comfortable
Yes.
in that role.
Exactly. Yeah, without a doubt.